July 3rd already, and we are inside of the Better Club to celebrate bonus night for all of you guys who are participating in the Success Secrets Masterclass. I am so glad that you're here. I'm Lachelle Mimi. If you are tuning in live on my timeline on my Facebook page, I want to say, hey, if you're watching from LinkedIn, if you're watching from YouTube, I want to say hello as well. And for those of you guys that are here inside the Better Club with me intimately, I want to say welcome. Now, if you want to be able to participate in this back and forth with me, if you want to be able to comment, if you want the links to the replays, you're going to want to come inside of the Better Club here in Facebook. So if you guys are outside of that space, come on in, just search the Better Club inside of Facebook groups, and I would be happy to welcome you right here inside of our community. In the Better Club, we are all devoted to becoming better, right? The best versions of ourselves. And we recognize that when we are better, when we become better, right? Be better, we can do better. We can do the things that we were scared to do before. We can do the things that maybe seemed out of reach. We can do the things that are making the biggest impact in the world. And lastly, when we do that, when we show up as the best person, doing the things that we know we need to do, we can have better. You guys, we can have better. We can live and give like no one else, so that we can make the world a better place through what God has blessed us in our business. And so if that sounds like that's something that you need in your life, then come on into the Better Club. And for those of you guys who have been in here for a while, we love having you. So it's so much fun. Now, I would love for you guys to put a 1 in the comments for those of you that are on live. It's always fun to see like, hey guys, whoop whoop. And then number 2 in the comments if you were watching the replay, or hashtag replay, because it's always so much fun to see kind of who's showing up in this. All right. Now, I have a few housekeeping things before we get into our bonus training tonight. And I want to just make sure that everybody's on the same page. Okay. So here inside of the Success Secrets Masterclass, we have done up to this point now 3 days of training. I did the 3 mistakes that I see business owners doing over and over again that is impeding their ability to rise up to that 6, multi-6, or even 7-figure business. And night number 1, we talked about lack of clarity. Where are you confused? And are you showing up in a way that demonstrates that you know exactly what you do, who you serve, and what makes you stand out in the marketplace? And if not, make sure that you head on over into guide number 2 for the replay of night number 1. Night number 2 was all about getting clear as far as our confidence, our posture. How are you showing up? I've noticed that people really do hold themselves and their businesses back if you don't believe that it's possible for you, and if you don't have that belief whenever you interact with either your clients or your prospective clients. And so where is your confidence? Where is your lack of posture? Where is your lack of belief impacting and therefore holding back you in your business? Okay. And then number 3, we talked about on night 3, the lack of consistency. Where are your habits failing you? Where are your natural routines and your lack of motivation failing you? And are you maximizing automation and systems in your business so that you're not a slave to your business? Because I, here inside the Better Club, want to help you guys create your life by design. That's the name of my company, is I Am Life by Design, because I want our businesses to serve the life that we want, right? I want our businesses to serve the impact that we want without burning ourselves out, without impacting our families in a negative way, all the things. And so what I want to do is make sure that you're leveraging all of the ways that you can automate your life so that you can show up consistently and create that know, like, and trust factor in everything that you do. So if you guys have not had a chance to watch any of those replays, you can grab them inside of Guide 2 here inside the Better Club. Okay. Now, those replays though are coming down tonight. And the reason that they're doing that is because I want to make you guys accountable for your life. If I were to let it be free reign, you most likely would not take the time and dedicate it to actually doing it. And everything that we are required of you guys in success in our business requires us to get into action. So I did it as a favor to you that you actually get into action. So the replays are going to be up until tonight. I'm going to leave tonight's bonus training up through tomorrow night just because it might be late for some of you guys. So inside of the masterclass, we have gone over a lot of massive value for those of you guys who are all caught up, who've been showing up live, who've been catching the replays. Put in the comments what has been your favorite. What is your aha? What is something that you were able to recognize, like, oh crap, like I'm totally doing that, like I'm holding myself back in my business back by doing this or by not doing this. I want to just you to share your ahas in the comments, because those are so fun to watch, but it's also going to help all of us create the community and the support in order for us to all spiral up together, right? And so if you're like, Lachelle, I do not have time and I want to have access to all of this, you absolutely have another option. This is the VIP option. So if you guys are really, really wanting the replays, or if you've been tuning in and you would love to be able to watch this as many times as you want to, go ahead and put VIP in the comments and Jamie will go ahead and get you guys a link to register for that. The VIP option gives you access to all of the replays for life. It'll give you the answer key to the workbook, as well as the replay of today's amazing live workshop that I did that allows you to reverse engineer your financial goals. You'll get the workbook and the replay of that live training from today. And so if that is something that would bless you, go ahead and put VIP in the comments and we'll make sure that you get that. All right. Now, to get on to tonight's training, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the mistake number 4 that I see holding people back in their business. And this is really the mistake that I see that is causing a lot of the overwhelm, the burnout, the doubt, and the confusion that we have in our business. You guys, and this mistake is really not working with God and his natural laws of the universe to get further ahead without having to add more work. Like, amen. Can I get an amen with that? Like, how many of you guys would love to start seeing your business scale? And I'm not talking 2x, I'm talking 10x. I'm talking seeing massive changes in your business without the massive hustle. For the longest time, I was really struggling with this. Like, my natural tendency, because I'm a high achiever, is to just do more, right? If I want my business to grow faster, I will just spend more time doing it, right? I'll add more to my plate. And guess what happens? I got overwhelmed. I started asking too many people for what they would do, and I got completely overwhelmed with all of my choices. And I started to spend way too much time on business. I was ignoring the things that were also a priority in my life, like my family. And I was feeling frustrated because I wasn't making the progress as fast as I wanted to. And that led me to have doubt in myself, doubt in my ability to make this happen. This must be for everybody else and not for me. And I caught myself in this downward spiral of like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I just, am not doing what Sarah or Katie or Tim are doing. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. I just can't keep doing this. And you guys, I don't want any of us to be stuck there. God placed this business on your heart on purpose, for a purpose. He wants you to show up in a way that's going to make massive impact in the world, massive impact for his kingdom. And I do not want you to quit. I'm here to find solution in order for you to get into flow with what he's doing through you and through your business. How fun is that? How many of you guys would love to be in flow? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, my favorite analogy when it comes to getting in business flow is the scene in Finding Nemo, actually, when Dory and Marlin are out looking for Nemo, right? How many of you guys have seen Finding Nemo? Like, can I get a couple of like hey me's in the comments? So in this movie, right, like, Nemo's lost. He was snatched up by a boat, and Dory and Marlin are out swimming the ocean trying to get to Sydney, Australia to find him. Okay. Now, they've been swimming hard. And Dory, she's got this great attitude, like, just keep swimming. But at some point, guys, like, it sometimes can get hard and exhausting. And it's harder for us to keep that momentum and that attitude up. And they got to this point in the movie where they met Crush the Turtle. And Crush the Turtle was like this perfect place, perfect time, perfect exact like reason that they were supposed to meet, and he was supposed to help them get to Sydney faster. And he's like, hey dudes, all you need to do is get into the EAC, get into the current that is going to shoot you essentially into Sydney. They didn't have to do any more work. They were literally able to just get into that current, get into that flow. And it took them from where they were to where they wanted to be. And that's what I want you guys to experience as well. I want this to be your crush the turtle moment where you're like, holy crap, Lachelle, like, you're right. I've been swimming. I've been swimming. I've been trying to maintain my attitude. I'm doing okay, but I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired. I'm not seeing the progress that I want. I'm not just getting the impact, the income that I want. And I really I want to see what I'm capable of doing. This is your EAC moment, guys. This is your crush the turtle moment tonight here inside of our Success Secrets Masterclass bonus night. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out ways that you can grow your business in a way that feels aligned, a way that feels good, a way that feels like, oh my gosh, like this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. How fun is that? Now, if you have your workbooks, go ahead and get it out. And we're going to go over some of the training here tonight. And I have a special treat in store for you in a very short couple of minutes, but let's get us started. And so what I want you to do is grab your workbook and I want you to get it out so that we can make some notes here. Okay. Now, if you are brand spanking new to this, you guys just stumbled upon this and you're like, Lachelle, I don't have a workbook. It's okay. Just type workbook in the comments and my client relations director will give you guys the access to that workbook and you'll have it. Okay. But don't stress about it. I don't want this to be a distraction to you. So I want you to just get out a piece of paper and a pencil and we're going to be good. All right. So those of you guys who have your workbook ready, I want you to just go ahead and look to the bonus session number 5. And the very, very first line, it says that rapid business growth is possible and does not have to involve struggle. It does not have to involve struggle. How amazing would that feel? Now, sometimes we have some mindset blocks that we have to recognize in this space where you might very well have a belief system because you've watched your parents struggle, you watched your grandparents struggle, you watch people around you struggle, putting in the hard work, the labor, the laborious efforts, and they just barely make it. They barely make it ahead, right? And so inside of your brain is a belief that struggle is required for you to make massive success happen. And that's not the case. And so one of the things that I do is kind of a specialty of mine is to figure out what your blind spots are and where your roadblocks are and come up with solutions on how to get past and through them. And that is one that I see a lot where people just have this feeling like you have to struggle, you have to work hard to be successful. And that's not the case. When we can get into God's EAC, when we can get into flow with him, we can make this happen. Like, how cool is that? All right. Now, inside the workbook, I have a diagram that shows one of my absolute favorite tools that I use in my coaching, which is the pyramid of sustainable change. And this is something that I learned from neuro-linguistic programming. And what it does is it tells us the various components that are necessary for long-term sustainable change. How many of you guys have been in a space where you really want something to happen? Maybe it's a weight loss goal, maybe it's a business goal, maybe it's a marriage goal, whatever the case may be. And you do something for a little bit and then it just kind of falls out of the wayside, right? You read a book and like, oh, that sounds amazing. And then like nothing really happens from it. So this is a pyramid that allows us to see the various components that are necessary for sustainable change. But one of the things that's really cool about it is that just like any pyramid, right? The very top is going to likely be the most impactful because it impacts everything below it. All right. So I'm just going to say the different components for you guys who don't have the workbook in front of you. The first one is environment. What does your environment look like? Who are you surrounding yourself with? What does your office space look like? Those are small things that add up to major, major impact. All right. Which is why I created the Spiral Up community, because I want people's environment, the people that we spend the most time with, to support them in spiral up and forward momentum instead of bringing us down. Okay. The second one is behavior. What are you doing on a day in and day out? How are you behaving as far as your daily disciplines and your habits? How are you behaving and thinking when things get hard? Like, what kind of internal dialogue are you having? So what are your behaviors? The capability is the next one. So what are the tools that you need to learn? Now, maybe you were inspired by Marcy's appearance the other night and her ability to create these amazing summons for lead generation. And you're like, oh my gosh, like that technology completely overwhelms me. So the capability isn't there. You don't know how all the pieces work. Therefore, you have to learn that. That's where the experts in Spiral Up come in, is because those people are going to be there for you to be able to increase your capability, right? Learning the skills that you need to learn in order to make it happen. How cool is that? The next one is beliefs and values. And I alluded to that a little bit, but what are your beliefs? Our belief systems are really what our subconscious uses in order to make sense of the world. And many of our beliefs are formed before we're even 7 years old. So what happens is our subconscious takes everything that we're taking in our environment, especially when we're little, and it starts to store them in our subconscious brain. Then what happens is our then brain looks for ways in our outside world to validate what it is experiencing from the beliefs that it's already picked up. And it's starting to put together a picture of the way the world works and how you fit in the world. The unfortunate part is that when we're little, our brain does not have the capacity to be able to do something that that can reject it if it doesn't seem right, right? Our brain can only accept it, even if it's not right, even if it's not accurate. And so what we're going to want to do, you guys, is make sure that we're addressing what are our belief systems? Are they accurate? Are they true? Are they aligning with our best version of our future self? And if not, do we need to reprogram some of those belief systems? Okay. Now, the other two, the top two, are identity and purpose. Identity and purpose. And so when we can identify ourselves with the best version of ourselves, when we can identify ourselves with the person that we want to become, as if we were already him and or already her, then we start to look at the world through that lens. So if I identify myself as a multi-million-dollar business owner who is making massive impact in the world through my business, then I am going to show up as her. If I identify as her, which means that I'm going to think of who is she right now, and is it consistent with who I want to be? And before I maybe grab that second glass of wine, or before I hit the snooze button in the morning, I showing up as who I want to be and allowing that identity to help me make the smallest decisions that are going to be consistent with her. Now, guess what? Not only is there amazing brain science attached to that, and I'm not going to get into all those details tonight because this is just so much fun, and I could go on a long tangent around that. But if I am thinking about, who I want to be and allowing her to be the lens in which I make all the tiniest little decisions, guess what? Those tiny decisions are going to start to add up into massive change. And all of a sudden I'm going to look and be like, holy crap, I am her. And then I get a chance to level up again. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. And when we are doing that, there is literally physics that allow for us to be able to start to see solutions in our minds, to start to see people that we've never noticed before, to start having conversations around things that are going to be consistent with that future version of ourselves because of physics and the fact that those energies are attracting to who we are identifying ourselves as. And you're going to start noticing that those are going to happen more and more frequently. And it is freaking amazing. Okay. And then the last one that I think that is just so profound is purpose. The purpose. Why are you doing what you're doing? And this is where a lot of us learn about the why exercises. And I take my clients through this. And there's also an exercise like this in my book, Get Out of God's Way. And you can actually take yourself through this process of asking yourself, why am I doing this? And why is that important? And why is that important? When you can get to the root of why the heck you're showing up, everything else starts to fall into place. And this is how you can create sustainable change. All right. So my purpose in my business is that I want all of you guys to be able to see what the heck you're capable of and to watch you crush your goals, making bigger impact, bigger income than you ever thought possible, and recognizing that when you lean in, when you trust God, that He can create a life beyond anything you could have imagined. That's my purpose. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning. That's what keeps me showing up. That's why I'm doing this. And I want this all for you guys as well. All right. Now, I promised you that I had a special surprise, and I cannot wait to introduce you to one of my very dear friends and a fellow rock star business owner, Pamela Hilton. You guys, she is a powerhouse CEO, and I have watched Pamela completely transform her business over and over again, leveling up, leveling up, leveling up. And I wanted to bring her on and introduce her because she's going to be such an amazing example of what we're talking about tonight as far as quantum leaping your success in your business. So I'm going to bring her in from backstage. Pamela, are you ready, girl? Awesome. Hi. How are you?
I gotta unmute myself. I'm really good. I'm really good. Can you hear me okay?
I totally can. I totally can. You guys, so I just got a shout out to Pamela real quick, because one of the things that I do is I'm really allow kind of my intuition to guide me in a lot of my decisions. And I'm a generator in human design. So if you can imagine, like, I'm constantly going, but I allow this intuition to guide me. And so this morning, actually, I reached out to Pamela. I'm like, you know what? I think you'd be amazing to bring into tonight's training so that we get a chance to hear from you and to learn from you and to show up as an example of what the heck I'm talking about tonight. And she was like, yeah, sure, let's make it happen. So I just want to thank you for being willing to let me shoot from the hip this morning when I reached out to you, and for your willingness to accommodate your schedule to make this happen.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's funny because as entrepreneurs, we kind of know that sometimes just winging it and is the best route, right? That's how you get the most, you find the most success sometimes when you're just kind of winging it and not too much in your head, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that, what we're talking about tonight, Pamela, is quantum leaping our business. It's working with God and his natural laws of the universe to be able to have quantum leaps in our success. And I feel like, I was just telling everybody about how there's a scene in Finding Nemo when Dory and Marlin just like get into the EAC current that shoots them in a city. And that's how this works with the universal laws, and recognizing the law of vibration, recognizing the cause of effect, recognizing all of these cool things. And I, feel like just the fact that you and I are talking tonight about this, and the fact that it worked out for your schedule, that you popped into my head today, is an example of this, because when it's right, it just flows. And that's what happens, you guys, when you learn to lean in, stop overthinking it, and just start to take imperfect action. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's been my personal experience as well, for sure. Like, so as you know, I'm a certified public accountant, CPA. I've been doing this for over 30 years. And the plan was, so I'm a single parent, and the plan was that when my kids got to a certain point in their lives, they'd be, independent, and I'd be able to I kept my business very small while I was raising them. And when they got a little older, we were going to kind of, I was going to explore growing the business. And yeah, like when you have that kind of, and it's not even a manifestation, it's just you open up your mind to, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to head here and we're going to see where it takes us. When you have that kind of mentality, yeah, I found all our business coach. I found you. I found this tribe of women, and there's so much power in that. I did it alone for so long, for 20, 30 plus years. And now that we find our tribe and we open up our mind, things just kind of just fall into place. And you don't, like I said, you don't have to overthink it so much. Just kind of, and I know that's kind of counter to sometimes some personalities are very like in their head. Mm-hmm. But if you can just, breathe and just trust that the universe is going to not lead you into devastation, that it's going to lead you in the right way. And you're making these decisions day by day, little by little. Yeah, I've seen it in my own life, and I've seen it in my own business, for sure.
I love that. And so Pamela and I have both invested in the same high level, like not inexpensive coaching, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, like your accountant brain was kind of like, okay, here we go. Cause like your numbers, right?
Yeah. You're going to jump in sometimes.
But it's just amazing how much like my business, your business has quantum leaped, because we not only, I think there's a bunch of things. Number one is I made the decision to stretch myself financially to make this happen. And when I did that, I had to take myself seriously. Like we weren't messing around anymore. Right. So it's that decision and that enough of a stretch, like uncomfortableness that pushes you into action instead of flaking it off. Right. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Like when and yeah, and let's back up a little bit, because taking that leap, sometimes a financial leap, like you're talking about, to
Yeah.
hire like a very expensive business coach, it doesn't happen in year 1, 2 of your business. You have to be, financially somewhat stable before, and you have to have a bit of confidence, right? You have to have, it may be a little shaky confidence, but you have to have some confidence that, yep, you know what, this is my purpose. I know what I'm doing. I know I can do this. And it might be a very small voice in your head, right? It doesn't have to be this loud, booming voice.
Yes.
But you have to have that confidence before you take a little leap. And then you say to yourself, oh, yeah, you know what? That was the right step. I can do it, and take another little leap. And then you're into those, like you said, those quantum leaps.
Yeah.
And it's a progression, but along the way, like you and you meet these women who validate
Yes.
what you're doing, right? They
Yep.
validate, like, oh yeah, like I really like what you're saying. You're really vibing with what you're talking directly to me. What you're saying is talking directly to me.
We get it.
Surrounding yourself with these tribes and these Facebook groups and these trainings all validate and allow you to take those little leaps and then the big leaps, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, that's just it, right? Like we didn't jump into $35,000 a year programs like right away, right? Like we invested as we kept going, and now like here we are. And I think that one of the things that you have mentioned is the tribe. And when I talk, because you guys, Pamela is one of our Spiral Up experts, by the way. So when I'm talking about Spiral Up over the last couple of days, it's that amazing way for you to quantum leap your business, not only from the expert coaching that I would give you to help you find your blind spots and your barriers and help you overcome them in whether it be mindset or technical skill set. But I also have you guys given you the opportunity to meet with experts that are going to meet the needs of where you're at when you need them. And Pamela is an expert in accounting and financial envisioning and planning and all of the things. And I'm going to get into the details of that in just a second, but it's surrounding ourselves with the people that are going to be the ones that believe us. They don't think we're crazy because we have big dreams. The ones who are also have big dreams, big goals, and we can push each other and we can make each other accountable and we help each other level up. And I think that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I personally look for when I'm looking at those higher ticket price programs, right? It's some of the lower ticket prices are fine, you know what I mean? I like what they're saying, but I also look for who's doing it, right? Who's coaching, and who else is in the group.
Yep.
Are these women serious about their business? Are these people I want to get to know? Because it is the message in the group. Yes, 100%. That's like, 75 to 80% of what it is. But there's also this other part of whatever coaching program you're getting into. It's the women or men, whoever's in the group.
Yep.
Are they going to motivate you?
Yep.
Do you want to get to know these people? Do you want to have one-on-one conversations with these people? Because they have something to add to the whole program as well. It's the coaching, yes, from this mentor, and you need that mentoring, but it's also other people in the group. Because as you know, like so many women have inspired us in the groups we've been in.
Yes.
That you can't discount what they've added to your business, right?
Absolutely not. And you were part of the master. So we did a Q&A on Friday night, and you came as an expert as part of our mastermind, and you got to see kind of the way that was being held. It was so powerful, you guys, like so powerful. The gals that came in that wanted, to get unstuck, Pamela was able to chime in, and all these other experts, and it was powerful. Like you could physically feel that vibration shift as we were on the call. Didn't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny how when you do those sort of things, you can plan it and right, and you have your little outline in your schedule of what you want to talk about, but how they just go off on these tangents. But it's very powerful, and it's very, it gives you so much more than you think when you when you click the, attend button or whatever. You get, when I do these sorts of things, I like to take notes because there are people that I want to touch base with afterwards, because you leave the group, even though it's an hour and a half, it's like, oh, I wanted to talk to this person a little bit more about that. I love the point they were making.
Absolutely.
And it can go off on all these tangents, and you learn a little bit more about the people every mastermind you do, every Zoom you do with these people when you're in these kind of longer programs. It's, these people have so much more to contribute, and you're going to want to meet with them outside the group and have more Zooms. And it's like a blossom. It blossoms into this thing that you didn't even imagine it was when you first started the whole program, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to just shift a little bit into your business, because since you started you talked about how you've been an accountant for 30 years, but your business, I mean, year after year, you're like, oh, it's increased by X amount of percentage. Like these last couple of years, you've had massive success, massive, advancements, quantum leaps in your business over just the last couple of years. Tell us a little bit about brag on yourself a little bit, girlfriend, because I want you to show people what's possible.
It's true. Like, even, I'm an accountant, right? And probably every one of your people in your group know an accountant, and it's a very singular kind of career, right? It's numbers. But being in these groups, like I said, I've got to know so many people. I talk all the time. I do speaking engagements, which was never, ever, ever on my radar.
Yep.
I'm going to be an author, right? You're an author. I'm going to be an author, which again, never on my radar would I think anybody would want me to contribute to their book about accounting and business, right? So there are these certain things that I never dreamed of, that being, like I said, being part of these groups, just participating, just being open to what's going on, really has propelled my business. I have a lot of success on social media. I have people reaching out to me all the time on social media. My business has grown. We're hiring new people, which is all wonderful things. But the underlying, theme to everything that we do here is we're helping people, we're educating people, we're having people have more success in their business, because we're trying to make accounting this cool thing, and it's not just this afterthought that you do when tax season rolls around. We're trying to make people understand that if you're a business owner, this is such a very powerful tool for your business, is knowing your accounting and having it solid. And if you're not very good with numbers, finding somebody to outsource it to. But yeah, like our business, my firm, I never in a million years imagined that I'd be authoring things and being asked to do speaking engagements. But it's one of those things, accounting, it's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, but it's very misunderstood.
Yeah. And you went from just, doing taxes now to you have accountants that work for you, and you do financial planning, and you help business owners be more proactive instead of reactive, so that when we can keep more of our money, we can reinvest it in ways that are going to allow for those quantum leaps. And your own business revenue has increased by quite a bit in the last couple of years too, hasn't it?
Yeah. So we'll probably double our revenue this year, for sure. And I think just from the social media push, last year we brought on probably between 70 and 80 new clients. It's hard to, we love our spreadsheets here, so we keep track of everything. But it's really, it's just crazy, and it's a good crazy, because, like I said, we really want to help people. One of our signature programs that we do is the tax planning for clients. Anybody who's in business knows, and especially businesses who are growing, if you just starting out, once you start to hit six figures and then multiple six figures, you're going to be paying more taxes. And sometimes that can be really crushing if you're not expecting it. I see it all the time when people are growing. It's that year that they have this real big growth. Financially, that now they pay these taxes, like, oh no, I didn't know how much I was going to pay. And we do this tax planning, which is so critical for our business clients that we do every fall for them.
Yep.
And we can project out with, you know, a reasonable degree of accuracy where they're going to be tax wise. That's such an important number to know.
Yeah.
And once you do know that number, and you know how powerful it can be, to know all of your accounting and have that like a solid, like I said, like a solid foundation, and having people you're working with who are have your financial numbers in their best interest.
Yeah.
They know what their taxes are going to be before the end of the year, and we can make that. We can work on, like you said, strategizing and making that a lower number if we can.
And what a great problem to have, right? When I get into, you know, my 7 figures and now I have to pay more in taxes, like what a good problem to have, but what a great way to look at it. Like, okay, how do we plan ahead for that? Because I think all of us that are listening to this are like, that's what I want. I want that. And so you guys, as part of Spiral Up, you're going to get a chance to have a one-on-one with Pamela, to be able to learn from experts like her, especially if you're like me. Like, I'm not a numbers person. I'm a big picture thinker. I'm a creative. And so for me, those details overwhelm me. So you have to create a relationship with people in your life that have skills that are not your favorite or that you don't have at all, in order for you to continue to level up. And so that's what we're doing here, guys. And Pamela, I love you. I adore you. I love watching your growth. Like, you are on fire, and it's so fun to be your friend and to watch you in all the things that you're doing. And I know that everybody that's listening tonight is getting so much from not only your expertise in numbers, but just to watch you and the amount of growth that you've had makes it possible and helps us to believe in ourselves it's possible for us too. So thanks, girl.
Absolutely. And you are so kind. And I adore you and all the people we've met along the way, right? And I am just so privileged and blessed that you thought of me when you're doing this program. Like, when you sent me that voice message, I'm like, yep, sign me up. I don't even know all the details, but I'm in.
I mean, that's just it. Every single person that I've reached out to about this, to be an expert in Spiral Up, has said yes, like astoundingly 100%. Where do we start? And so that just goes to show you guys that this is going to be a powerhouse of a resource for you. All of the things that you need to know to move yourself and your life forward and your business forward is going to be right here at your fingertips. So, okay, girl. Well, I am so grateful. Thank you so much for spending time with me tonight. I love you. And you guys, make sure that you say hi to Pamela here in the comments so that she can say hi back in the replay when she gets off. And then I will talk to you later, friend. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks, Michelle. We'll talk soon.
Oh my gosh, you guys, isn't she amazing? And that is just one example of somebody in my life that has made such a quantum leap. Like, her just being an accountant, doing numbers for people, to now owning a firm and having employees and doing planning for people and expanding her services. She has courses that she offers now. I mean, it's amazing to watch. And all of that has happened very recently as far as that level of quantum growth. And I want you guys to know, just like me and Pamela, it can happen for you too. And so let's do this together. Okay. Now, I want to go ahead and keep going into our workbook, because there's so many fun things that we need to talk about over the next couple of minutes. And I want to make sure that I get you guys, to bed early, because you have a big fun day, especially you're in the States tomorrow celebrating 4th of July. All right. Okay. So go ahead. Let's get back to your workbook. And I want you, before I do that, I'm just going to say that I don't want to forget. If the Spiral Up program is something that you're like, I want to learn more about that, I want to figure out like whether or not this would be a blessing for myself and my business and my goals, just put Spiral Up in the comments, and I will make sure to reach out to you personally. And Jamie also will reach out to you with some information if we need it. So don't hesitate to just put Spiral Up in the comments, and we'll make sure that you guys get the information that you need. Okay. All right. So let's get going back into our workbook. All right. So faster results leverage quantum physics and brain science. Faster results leverage quantum physics and brain science. These are my 2 specialties, along with scripture, that I bring to the table. That's a secret sauce that I have to allow for people to get faster success. All right. Now, when we talk about how these things work together, I remember that I mentioned that our purpose and our identity are 2 major things that impact sustainable change. Our identity is really, really powerful, but we have to allow our brain to be able to take on that identity. All right. And some of the ways through brain science that you do that is to acknowledge the fact that our thoughts are what create our feelings. Okay. Our thoughts are what create our feelings. And then our feelings are what create our actions. And our actions are what create results. So we have I'm trying to go backward for you guys. So we have our thoughts that create our feelings, that create our actions, that create our results. And so when we can appreciate that, we understand that it is our thoughts that are at the forefront of the results that we get in our business. And because we've been given this amazing superpower free choice by God, we get a chance to use our free will and our free choice to change our thoughts that will eventually change our feelings, our actions, and our results. How cool is that, right? Like there's hope. So if you want faster results, you have to keep yourself into a state of love, joy, and appreciation. Now, inside the workbook, you guys are going to get a chance to see this amazing scale that I have. It's called the vibrational emotional scale. And it's also in my book. You guys can catch that inside of Get Out of God's Way book as well. But one of the things that you can do is recognize that when we are feeling a certain feeling, it actually changes the way that the electrons inside of our body are moving. It's so freaking cool. This is the science part of it. Scientists have actually been able to measure how fast the electrons are rotating around the nucleus when we have certain feelings or emotions. When we feel things like love, joy, passion, freedom, excitement, our electrons rotate faster. And if you guys remember from 7th grade science class, everything in our universe is made up of atoms. And our atoms have these tiny little electrons that rotate around the nucleus, okay? The faster these go, the faster that vibration is, it's measured in frequency. And so the faster these rotate, the higher the frequency, the higher the vibration. When we are thinking thoughts that lead to feelings of despair, disempowerment, worry, hopelessness, helplessness, shame, guilt, it literally takes those electrons and they rotate slower. Therefore, the vibration is lower, the frequency is lower. You notice that even when I say those words, my words get slower, my voice gets lower. Versus when I talk about love, joy, appreciation, and gratitude, higher, faster, right? And so the more that you can create thoughts that create your emotions that are aligning with the higher levels of vibration, the faster you're going to be able to get into faster results in your business. Now, there's a couple of laws that I have in here that I had used as examples. So in your workbook, you're going to notice that there's a very first law, the law of vibration. The law of vibration basically just states essentially what I just told you, in the sense that everything in our world vibrates because everything is made up of moving parts that are always constantly in motion. Every single thing, down to the smallest thing in the world to the biggest thing, is made up of these tiny little atoms that have electrons rotating around it. What happens is that like vibrations mash up with like vibrations. So when the electrons of two things that are vibrating at the same rate are next to each other, or even across the world, but are connected with thought, they start to vibrate to a point where their electrons literally start to entangle or dance with each other. And so what happens is that when we think thoughts that are in a consistent plane with love, joy, attraction, excitement, freedom, all of the things that are high in and high vibe, and honestly, like closer to where God wants us to be. When I look at scripture, the Lord wants us to live in joy, in peace, in love, in gratitude. Am I right? We literally are vibrating faster and higher, closer to our higher power. So are the people, the next person that's going to be the game changer in your business, the next conversation, the next solution to a problem that you have been stuck on. If you can get yourself to raise up to a higher vibration that aligns with the vibration of that solution, with that conversation, with that person, with that idea, you will start to find each other and you will start to see things that you never saw before. How many of you guys have literally been like, oh my gosh, like that has been there all along? The idea that I had for Spiral Up, it's so innately within me and who I am, like to the core. But I'm like, how did I not think of this sooner? Because I hadn't vibrated at that level yet. I continue to level up and things just start to come into my alignment, to my sphere of influence. And so the law of vibration is something that we can leverage, and we can use brain science to have thoughts that create feelings that allow for us to be able to vibrate higher. Okay. So that's one of the things that you can leverage. The next law is the law of cause and effect. And I want to just say that the law of cause and effect is honestly quite amazing because, again, it brings hope. It brings hope. If I have hope, I have everything. The moment I get hopeless, the moment I want to quit. All right. I don't know if I'm alone in that. I'm guessing not. Right. And so the law of cause and effects basically just says that we are first cause, meaning that whatever we think, whatever we do, whatever we say has a consequence. All right. We've heard that. It's the law of reaping and sowing in the Bible. It's, karma. It's you get what you get, what you put out there. Right. The law of cause and effect basically says that whatever we do, the actions that we take, the thoughts that we have a consequence. They have an effect. And therefore, the thing that's really interesting is that as first cause, we can change the way that we think. We can change the way that we speak. We can change the way that we act. If you don't love the way that your business is right now, you can change it because you are first cause. You can start to do different things. You can start to meet different people. You can start to learn new things, have different thoughts, have different feelings, allow yourself to attract different solutions. But you are first cause. Now that also means there's kind of the good and the bad, right? Like your success is on you and your success is on you. Meaning that, you know what? If you're not seeing the results, you have to come back to you and ask yourself, what have I been doing that is creating this reality? What thoughts have I been thinking that do not support the future version of myself? What actions am I doing or not doing that are not consistent with the future version of myself? You have to acknowledge that because you are first cause. The results that you're getting that are not ideal can come back to you as well. Okay. So knowing the law of cause and effect allows us to take that ownership back, that accountability back. We are not victims, you guys, to our circumstances. We can choose to rise above. We can choose to take responsibility for what parts we need to own, and we can choose to do things differently. Okay. That's amazing. It's amazing. The next law that I wanted to mention tonight is the law of gender. The law of gender. Now, what the law of gender means is that the universal laws bring energies together that allow for the creation of something. So this is really kind of cool. So God, this is my belief system is I believe in the Lord, right? And I believe that our Lord is the God of order, right? And God spoke the world into existence. And he is the one who created the law of order. He created the sun to rise and to set. He created the tide to go in and go out. He created the seasons. He created the fact that an acorn just knows to grow into an oak tree, right? There's a law of order, and all of these physical laws that I'm talking about allow us to get into the EAC with God because we're literally leveraging what he has already created in this universe. And we're just starting to work with it instead of trying to fight it, right? It's like imagining me trying to fight the law of gravity. Let's not do that. Let's work with the law of gravity. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're doing. We're working with the law of vibration. We're working with the law of cause and effect, and we're working with the law of gender. Now, because the Lord tells us that he created us in his image, we are able to also create. Because we are created in his image, we are allowed to create. So we get to create our realities. We get to create the things that we see around us. And so when he spoke the world into existence, he allowed for his imagination to come into fruition. He manifested what he wanted. And God manifests what we want as well when we're in alignment with what he wants us to have. So we can tap into that, right? And then we can use the fact that we are already created in his image to create a life that is consistent with his will. It is so freaking cool, right? But I think one of the things that people fail to recognize is that we have to be able to recognize the law of gender when we think about how fast things are happening for us. Okay. Now, everything happens in God's timing. Like, I'm not going to negate that. But I also think that sometimes we get in his way. We don't allow ourselves to get into flow and alignment with him. So law of gender says that we have to have a masculine part and a feminine part for something to be produced. Masculine energy and feminine energy. Just like a male and a female animal, human has to be involved to create another, so does masculine and feminine energies. Now, masculine energy is what a lot of us in the Western world are used to. It's the work harder, it's the grind, it's the hustle, right? It's the do. It is necessary to create, but we also have to have a feminine energy inside of this as a equal partner. What is feminine energy? Feminine energy is the going with the flow. It's the patience. As a woman is waiting for her baby, she's being patient in that gestation. It's that knowing and trusting and having that faith. It's the just being and being in that creativity and being in that flow and just knowing and trusting and waiting along with the doing. So you have to have the creative side of yourself and the doing side. I can't just sit here and think, oh, it'd just be wonderful to have this business and all of my favorite people are just going to find me and they're going to call me and they're going to show up at my doorstep. Like, that isn't going to happen unless I do the dang things. Like, God moves how does that say? God moves a moving vessel. Anyway, like, you have to do your part in this, guys. So you cannot have just all of the creativity, like, okay, whatever, but you can't just be in the doing all the time, because that is essentially making us our own idol, is making our hard work our own idol, is allowing us to create an idea that if it's meant to be, it's on me, when in fact we have to be partners with God in our future, in our business, right? And so when you can say, okay, Lord, I trust that you put this desire in my heart. I can see it. I can visualize it. I know that this is what you want for me, and I'm going to trust you, and I'm going to have faith in you, and I'm going to wait on you, and I'm going to just be in you in expectation. And I'm also going to do the things that I need to do consistently. I'm going to show up. I'm going to get into action. And when we can merge the masculine and the feminine energies in balance with one another, that's when things are produced. That's when things are manifested. That's when your beautiful life starts to unfold. You have to have both. And so when I hear you guys saying, Lachelle, I'm overwhelmed. Lachelle, I'm caught in the hustle. Lachelle, I am burned out. Guys, that's because you're stuck in the masculine energy too much. And we have to find that balance of the masculine and the feminine in order for your creation to come to fruition, for God to manifest that dream life for you. And that's what I want for you. Okay. How fun is this? Are you guys feeling inspired? Are you feeling like, oh my gosh, like this is possible, right? So I want to just let you know that it is possible. I did my retreat last September in Alabama. This year is going to be most likely out of the country. I have a couple of places picked out in Costa Rica and in Mexico, and I haven't finalized the villa yet, but it's going to be amazing. And I got to tell you that last year I created a vision statement along with the rest of the participants, and I breathe that into life. Everything that I do, I listen to every single day in my vision statement as part of my routine. And you guys, like 95% of what I had put in that vision statement last September has come to fruition. God has manifested it. it is crazy. My life is not even recognizable. I'll be honest with you. And I can't wait to see what happens this September when we do the same. And so there again, if you need to be part of that retreat, if you're ready to step into that identity, if you are ready for that sustainable change that I mentioned, and you don't know how to do that, you don't know how to become her, you don't know how to execute this philosophy, then put retreat in the comments and I'll make sure that you guys get the link, okay? Because it is life-changing. But I will tell you that there's only a couple of seats left. And so I keep it small to 10 people. We already have several people have signed up. So you're going to want to make sure that you reach out to me ASAP and put retreat in the comments, all right? So let's wrap this up tonight. I want you to get your homework. Oh, and oh my gosh, I forgot to mention, I was going to announce it tonight and I forgot. So I will put the winners of the homework in the past couple of nights in the post in the group. So I'll do that. But tonight's homework, bonus homework, is I want you to do these things, okay? Describe who you want to be. So what identity do you want to take on? Okay, who do you want to be? And then I just want to ask you, like, is this something that you're willing to do? Decide. Are you willing to act as if you are already him or her for the next 30 days? And just commit to it. Make the decision and then tag me in your stories and tell me what your biggest takeaway was from this training, okay? And once you're done with all of that, look for the homework post and put done in the comments, and you will go into a drawing to get one of my signed copies of my book, Get Out of God's Way, along with a free gift that I'm also going to include in your package as a surprise. So I cannot wait for that. Okay. Now, I hope you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have given it to you. This has been phenomenal. Make sure that you get into Guide 2 to catch all the replays. They're going to be going down tonight, except for tonight's training. I'm going to keep up till tomorrow. If you want lifetime access to all of this, just put VIP in the comments. If you are interested in information about Spiral Up, know that offer is that cohort's going to be starting here towards the end of July. So you're going to want to make sure that you reach out to me ASAP for details on that. And of course, the retreat, put retreat in the comments, put Spiral Up in the comments, and I will get you all the information that you need. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in, for giving me your best. I hope this is as good for you as it was for me. And I love you. Thank you. Reach out to me if you have questions. If you need a breakthrough call and we need to just sit down and talk about your situation and how to get you unstuck, put breakthrough call in the comments as well. All right, you guys. Bye.